European Central Bank's Governing Council has warned that risks to the euro area financial stability have increased. The ECB attributed this to a sharp rise in global geopolitical uncertainty, particularly trade friction. Despite the warning, the Council noted that the banking sector's capital and profitability remain high. The ECB called on national authorities to maintain the banking system's resilience and urged policymakers to monitor the situation, indicating that further shocks could require a shift in policy. Investor sentiment in the Eurozone improved more than expected in July, reaching its highest level in over 3 years. A survey showed the Sentix index for the Eurozone rose to a 4.5, significantly beating forecasts and marking its third consecutive monthly increase. The recovery appears broad-based, with notable gains in the US and Germany. This strengthening economic upturn suggests the European Central Bank's room for further interest rate cuts may narrow, and even though inflation pressures are currently contained. The Federal Statistics Office has revealed that German industrial production rose more than expected in May, increasing by 1.2% over the previous month, defying analysts' predictions of flat growth. And this positive surprise was largely fueled by strong performances in the automotive industry, energy production, and the pharmaceutical sector. The automotive sector saw a 4.9% growth from April, while energy production surged by a 10.8%. The pharmaceutical industry also contributed positively with a 10% increase, and economists are viewing the figures as an increasing sign of a cyclical rebound for the manufacturing sector. And still in Europe, the Statistics Office has reported that Swedish headline consumer prices rose more than expected in June, with flash figures showing a 2.9% increase year on year. This inflation rate easily topped the central bank's 2% target, and economists' forecasts making further interest rate cuts less likely for the remainder of the year. And excluding volatile energy prices, inflation stood at a 3.3% in June. The central bank had previously cut its policy rate to 2% on the 18th, but today's figures suggest a tougher path for further easing. And Russian President Vladimir Putin has appointed Andriy Nikitin as acting transport minister following the dismissal of Roman Starovoyt. Nikitin previously served as the deputy transport minister and as a former governor of the Novgorod region. This appointment follows the dismissal of Roman Starovoyt, who had held the transport minister position for just over a year. And moving on to Asia, China's foreign exchange reserves saw an increase at the end of June 2025, reaching a 3.3174 trillion US dollars. And according to data released by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, this represents an increase of 32.2 billion US dollars, or an 0.98% from the end of May. And it attributed the rise to a combination of factors, including a weaker US dollar and an uptick in global financial asset prices. The administration added that China's steady economic recovery and sound fundamentals continue to bolster the overall stability of its foreign exchange reserves. And Reuters has reported that China's central bank has surveyed financial institutions for their views on the recent weakness of the US dollar and its potential impact on the Chinese yuan exchange rate. And the People's Bank of China conducted the survey last week, seeking insights into the dollar's movements and the outlook for the yuan. While the bank has not commented, the survey is being interpreted by some as a sign of concern over a sharp appreciation of the yuan or an assessment of the dollar's trajectory amid ongoing U.S. trade negotiations. The U.S. dollar index has notably declined by some 11% this year, while the Chinese yuan has remained relatively stable. And China has announced a new plan to retrain its vast rural workforce, including women, to improve job prospects and boost the economy. And the initiative, part of Beijing's broader 10-year strategy to become an agricultural powerhouse, involves vocational education and retraining for various roles, including domestic and care services. The government aims to help millions of rural workers adapt to urban employment and access basic public services equally. This move comes as China faces an economic slowdown and a significant portion of its rural migrant population nears retirement age. Thailand's annual inflation rate was negative for a third straight month in June, primarily due to the lower energy and food prices. The consumer price index dropped to 0.25% year on year. Despite this, the Commerce Ministry stated there are no signs of deflation yet, and this marks the fourth consecutive month that inflation has been below the central bank's target range. The ministry expects inflation to remain negative in the third quarter before turning positive later in the year.